Hi, parrots. Um, you can ask your son or daughter why I started my video that way. But hello, and thanks for actually clicking on the link. I apologize that I will not be there for open house, but I'm one of the golf coaches, and unfortunately, one of the other golf coaches is currently sick, which means I have to cover the golf meet today. So I figured I will give you my little talk, just video format. And that way, if it's just super amazing, you can watch it again and again, or you can watch it double speed and, you'll be done half as fast. But I figure I'll tell you a little bit about me, I'll tell you a little bit about the class, and then in our short little journey, I will explain why physics is the greatest, most important class that your son or daughter is ever going to take. My name is Mark Limburger. I graduated from University of Illinois. My degree is in teaching of physics, so I get to use my degree every single day. Go me. I have a master's degree from Barrett College, which used to be in Lake Forest, and DePaul then bought it and then turned it into giant houses. But I'm pretty sure I still have a master's. But yeah, so. Otherwise, this is my 29th year that I've been teaching. And I used to, make jokes about, like at year 17, I would tell the parents at open house, I'd say, hey, my teaching career can now see an R-rated movie. At year 25, I was like, hey, my teaching career can now rent a car. At year 29, I guess my teaching career has become a parent, because I actually there's a few of my former students that are currently teaching at Stevenson. So there you go. But yeah, it's year 29, and I feel super fortunate to be here. I still love my job. I still love what I get to do. And mainly because I get to hang out with your kids every single day. Unfortunately, when I meet people and I tell them that, and they're like, hey, and I introduce myself and they ask me what I do, and I tell them, hey, I'm a physics teacher. A lot of times the response I get is something like this. I'm like, what do you mean? And most of the time when I ask them, what do you mean? And they're like, well, I took physics in college, and it was one of those things that didn't really, mean too much to me. It didn't relate to real life. It was a bunch of formulas, and they're like, ugh. And when I hear that, that makes me so, so sad, because that is not what physics should be. Physics should be about looking at nature and look at the surroundings and trying to figure out why things happen. And to me, that's the first reason why that I think physics is the greatest subject that your son or daughter is ever going to take. The first reason is, I know when I was in school, there was plenty of times where I'm in a class going, why do I need to know this? And I think this subject lends itself so that the students are never going to ask, why do I need to know this? Because why they need to know this is, well, this is going to explain why if you throw a ball, it's going to land over there. This is going to explain, why the sky is blue. This is going to explain how circuits work. This is going to explain whatever, because that's what physics is about. Physics is about looking at nature and trying to figure out why. And I will tell you, that is why I think that's the first reason I think this is the greatest class. And the second reason is this, okay? I think a lot of times when students or when people first try to take physics, the reason that they find it so difficult is because they are approaching the class the wrong way. I think, unfortunately, a lot of times our school system has set things up so that they reward people for memorizing. So a lot of times students have learned to memorize and just barf out the answer on a test. And physics is a class that you can't just memorize and then barf out the answer when you're done. Here, I'm going to move this because I don't know, the blue thing in the background is bothering me. Yeah, it's physics is a class that you can't just memorize and barf out the answer. Physics is a class where you truly have to understand the material and be able to apply that material and see the connections and, take something basic and apply it to something else. And I think that's why that for a lot of students, they first struggle when they start physics. And that to me is one of my biggest goals, is that by the end of the year, and this is why I think this is going to be the greatest class that your son ever or daughter ever takes, is that by the end of the year, my goal is I'm going to change how your son or daughter thinks and approaches learning. I am going to get them to look at learning as, rather than a bunch of memorized stuff, hey, I'm going to see how this fits with this and how it connects and make it apply to this. And you know what? It would be the most amazing thing ever if all of your sons and daughters ended up majoring in physics, but it's not going to happen. But all of your sons and daughters are going to be students for a long time. And if I can change how they think and how they approach learning and how they approach understanding, then no matter what they score on the AP test, I promise you I will prepare them for the AP test. But no matter what they score on the AP test, that this class is going to be a huge, huge success for your son or daughter. And at the same time, I understand that process of learning by understanding takes time, and for some students, it's a hard transition. So I have tons and tons and tons and tons of resources built into the class on Canvas. I have videos of me teaching just about everything. And hey, look, now I have a video of me doing open house. But I have videos of me teaching just about anything so the students can see these resources. And then I also have built in interventions and checks as we go along so that if students do struggle, I tell them, hey, that's normal. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to help you change how you learn. And then by the end of the year, I promise you, their approach to learning is going to change. And that is the most powerful, exciting, wonderful thing that's why this class is going to change your son or daughter's life. And then the last thing I just want to mention is I know when I was in high school, and I would come home from school, my parents would be like, hey, Mark, what'd you do at school today? Usually my response would be something like this, nothing. And I'm sure none of you can relate to that. I'm sure that when you come home and you ask your son or daughter, hey, what'd you do at school today? They probably you probably have this big, long discussion about how their physics teacher is trying to get them to understand rather than memorize, and it's so powerful, and they go on and on and on. But just in case that doesn't happen, at the end of each unit, and our unit's finishing up pretty soon, within the next couple weeks, that at the end of each unit, the students are going to fill out a newsletter. The newsletter is designed for you, so your son or daughter will have made it, and they are supposed to share it with you, and you're supposed to read it together. And most of the time, I will have a little experiment that you can do with your son or daughter. And I would encourage you, I know we're all busy, but I would encourage you to take some time and do some physics with your son or daughter. And it is an assignment too, so please do look for that. So look for that in the next couple of weeks. And there you go. That's my video presentation. I hope, my goal was that this is going to be the best video open house presentation that you are gonna hear from any of your students' teachers this year. So hopefully I succeeded. But I do encourage you, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And have a great day, and I appreciate you listening. All right, bye.